What's going on, you guys? I'm Cartel from Hell, back again. This time we're going to do something a little bit different. Today we're going to go ahead and do an assembly video on this Prime 1 Studios Venom. You know, there's a lot going on with this piece, and I really feel like it deserves an assembly video. I've never actually done, an assembly video just by itself. So this time we're going to try something a little different, man. So yeah, we're still going to go ahead and do a complete review, but that's going to be in a separate video because this one right here is going to take up, it's going to take up a lot of time, and I'm going to have to do a lot of editing for it. So I might as well go ahead and chop them up into different videos. But yeah, man, just a quick update too. Somebody hit me up in my last video. They were like, how come you're not using your gloves anymore, man? Well, I did notice one thing. When I was using gloves, sometimes the gloves would kind of get caught on a piece, and I'm trying not to let that happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch up what I'm using. I was using those mechanics gloves, and it just wasn't cutting it. It was doing great by not letting excess oil getting onto the statue, which is pretty much the only reason why I use gloves anyways. But because they were just a little bit baggy, they would lightweight snag on a piece. And I would rather get a little bit of oils on my statue from my hands than actually, breaking a piece of my statue just because I'm using gloves. So instead of me using those gloves, I didn't use them last week because I wanted to try something new. Well, not new. It's not like other statue reviewers don't use them, but I wanted to try out, some regular gloves. You know what I mean? These are just food grade gloves that I ordered when I ordered my my pellet smoker. My barbecue in the back. So yeah, man, this is what I'm going to be using on this assembly video. So yeah, just wanted to give you guys an update and let you guys know I'm trying something new. So one thing that I'm going to go ahead and do in this video, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and break down this statue all the way down and go ahead and label all of the parts in the packaging in the styrofoam individually, so that you can see the corresponding numbers with the instruction that Prime 1 gives you, because the instructions really aren't that good. The one that Prime 1 gives you, I mean, they're not bad, but they're very dark and they're kind of not very descriptive. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and label all the pieces for those guys that needed the help to decipher some of the different symbiote tendrils from the other ones. This is for you guys, man, because I would hate to see somebody put a tendril in the wrong place and damage it, so it's going to be just like little, tips and tricks or whatever. Alright, you guys, so enough chaka-laka-laka. Let's go ahead and get this shit going, baby boy. Salud. Here we have it. It's going to be one half of the assembly instructions. We're not really going to need the other side because I'm going to go ahead and take care of the rest for you. It is printed on a glossy paper, so if there's a little bit of a glare, sorry about that. I'm just trying to light it up for you guys as much as possible so you guys can get a better view of what's going on with these instructions. So for step one, we're going to go ahead and plug Venom onto the base. And because plugging Venom onto the base is going to require two parts, I'm going to go ahead and label Venom and the base 1 and 1.2. So here's number 1, Venom himself, and number 1.2. Just go ahead and grab those out. Let's go ahead and test these new gloves out. Let's grab that base. Try to go ahead and get it centered right quick. Just a little bit more. Let's take a quick look at it. Just a quick spin around for your viewing pleasure. Alright, now let's go ahead and throw Venom onto the base. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at Venom himself. Mr. Eddie Brock, the star of the show. Paint lines are all pretty crisp on that Venom symbol. Paint's actually very impressive on this piece, you guys. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at his back. Alright man, let's get him on the base. So the first time I put him on the base, I thought it would be really hard. But he actually goes in there fairly easily. And as you can see, there's no, gap there. You don't see a bunch of light shining through or anything like that. It doesn't, exactly sit flush on the base. But there's no gap. It's just the way that it was sculpted. Nothing's actually wrong with it. So let's go ahead and put in that second piece. So now we're going to go ahead and go for step 2. Step 2 is going to be plugging in this little piece of symbiote underneath Venom's foot. Let's go ahead and find that in the packaging. Alright, so number 2 is going to be in Venom's packaging. Right here. This is what it looks like. Let's go ahead and grab that out and slide that underneath Venom's foot. Alright, so this is number 2. That second piece of symbiote that plugs in underneath his foot into the base. It's got some really nice coloring on it, you guys. It's got a beautiful blue hue on it. Makes that symbiote just pop almost like it's alive. Beautiful looking stuff, man. Let's go to plug it in. It's magnetic. It's a magnet on the bottom of his foot as well. It's pretty dope, man. So one thing to notice or to note is that Eddie Brock has, it's almost a glossy paint job, but the symbiote is a lot glossier than the paint on Venom himself. It gives it like a slick oil finish. It's cool, man, just to differentiate, the different parts of the symbiote. Alright, let's go ahead and go on to the next step. Alright, so now we have number 3. And number 3 is going to be the larger of the 2 pipes inside the packaging. Now with this one, you're just going to go ahead and slide the pipe into the base. And then once you do that, you're going to rotate it so that Venom's grip seats onto the pipes. So 4 is not going to be a numbered part. Only 3 will be a numbered part because 4 is a step instead of a part. So let's go ahead and find number 3 inside the packaging. Alright, so here's number 3. It's in the base's packaging and it is the bigger pipe out of the 2 pipes. Let's go ahead and grab that out and put that onto the base. Alright you guys, so here we have number 3 or step 3. It's going to be this big ass pipe that plugs in to his base with his peg and key. They put in a lot of weathering with the paint on this piece. They even got some symbiote wrapped around it with a spider right here, a little venomized spider right there, another spider right here. Another cool thing that they've done is added some wet glossy effect right here to give it that appearance like it's full of water inside the pipe. So yeah, you're going to go ahead and plug this onto the base, and his hand is going to go ahead and grip right here, and it's magnetized as well So when it goes in, it's going to go ahead and suck it in and give it a little bit more stability. So let's go ahead and plug this into the base. So this is actually a little bit difficult to put this piece in here because you can't see where the hole is. So it's probably one of the harder parts to put on for this statue, but once you get it in, it just goes right in. It seats all the way, and you can spin it, and as you spin it, it'll drop it down a little bit more, and then go ahead and hold on to Venom and the pipe at the same time, so that when they connect, they just connect, you know, slowly, and they don't snap those claws that he has here. You want to keep that shit all intact, you know what I mean? But yeah, everything sits in flush. It's looking good so far. Let's go ahead and get that next step going. Alright you guys, so like I said before, number 4 is not a part itself. It's just an actual step of rotating that pipe into Venom's hand. So now we have number 5, and number 5 is just plugging in his thumb on the back of his hand for that pipe. They basically did it like that so that the thumb doesn't get broken off. So let's go ahead and find number 5, that thumb inside the packaging. Back to the basis packaging for number 5. There's his thumb. Alright you guys, so now we have number 5, and it's just going to be his little thumb that plugs into the back of his hand with the pipe. Real easy little step. It's magnetized. It'll suck right in there, no problem. Alright, let's go on to the next step. Alright, so now we have number 6. And number 6 is a little piece of symbiote that plugs onto his left hand. The inner side of his left hand on the front side. Let's go ahead and find that in the packaging. Alright, so number 6 is going to be in Venom's part of the packaging. And it's right here in between that really big piece of symbiote. Alright, so here we have number 6. A little piece of symbiote that's going to go ahead and plug into his hand. And not only does it plug into his hand, but you have this little peg here as well that plugs into this part of the symbiote right here. So this little key is going to go right here onto his hand, and this little plug is going to go right here onto the symbiote. So you want to go ahead and line those up at the same time. Now one thing that you could do to make this fit a little more snug is go ahead and heat up this piece of symbiote with the blow dryer, so you can bend it a little bit to get it to seat in a little better. I wish that they would have put a magnet on this part and not just this part, so that the magnets would suck that piece in at the same time and keep that seam a little tighter. As you can see, I don't have too much of a seam on mine, or a gap where it links together, but when I first put it in, there was a little bit of a gap, and who knows, it might, you know, happen a little bit later in the future. But I'll do the same thing, just heat it up with a blow dryer and try to get it to seat in there just like it is now. So yeah, let's go ahead and go on to the next step. Alright, so for number 7, we have another piece of symbiote that plugs in to his left shin. Alright, so here we have number 7, and it's in between Venom's legs. Go ahead and grab that piece out and let's slap it on his left shin. Alright you guys, so here we have number 7. And this one's a little tricky because you have a couple keys right here that are magnetized. But then the rest of this piece of symbiote needs to wrap around the pipe at the same time of plugging this into his leg. And you want to be careful of this spike right here because it gets very close. It pretty much touches the pipe, so you don't want to torque on that and snap that off. So you want to go ahead and wrap this around that pipe first. and it'll seat right in. Now, this one, when I first put it in the first time, this is the second time I put it in. The first time I put it in, the keys weren't sucking in all the way. But because this piece has climatized a little more, and I've also got that blow dryer on this piece as well, it loosened up this symbiote, and it allowed the magnets to go ahead and pull the material in tighter. So now it's sitting in there really good, man. I could sit there and use a blow dryer to do it a little bit more, and it'll continue to suck in even more. But I'm happy with it the way it is. It's all fitting in there very nicely. So let's go ahead and go on to the next step. All right, you guys know we have step 8, and this is going to be the first piece of symbiote that has a mouth and fangs, and this one is going to plug on the left side of his back. So number 8 is going to be in Venom's packaging as well, all the way up in this corner of the packaging, and this has a couple keys on it as well, magnetized, and it's going to go ahead and plug into his back and sweep around his side. Let me go ahead and come around from down here so you guys can see it a little better. Now this one right here, I never heated it up, but I could tell if I did heat it up, it would seat in a little bit better than what it is now. But I'm not really worried about this one right here because this one's on the back side and you're never gonna see it, you know, when it's displayed. But that being said, if it bothers you, you can go ahead and heat it up and get it to suck in a little bit more if you have the same issue on yours. But yeah, I haven't even attempted it because it's really not a big of a deal on that part of the statue. Alright, let's go ahead and go on to the next step. Alright, now number 9 is going to be a really big piece of symbiote that goes on Venom's right thigh. Alright, that number 9 is going to be in the basis packaging, all the way on the top left hand side. I think this might be the piece that keeps on breaking on people during shipping, just because how long that piece of symbiote is. Hopefully everybody's getting replacements. I'm not 100% sure if it's this piece, but this one looks like it'd be the biggest problem. It also makes the statue a little bit harder to move it around your display. So this one right here is going to have 2 keys as well, and it's magnetized. So let's go ahead and plug this one into his leg. And these keys, they have a specific shape on them, so just make sure you don't put the wrong one in. And that one sucks in there really nice. See, this one sits very flush. Yeah, this one I didn't have to heat up at all either. So yeah, it's looking good, man. She's looking sick. Just like the comics, you guys. You know, the symbiote tendrils just going all over the place. Just has a mind of its own, you know what I mean? We're almost about halfway there. We got number 10, and it's going to be this smaller pipe out of the 2 pipes. And you're just going to go ahead and insert that onto the base. Alright, you guys, here we have it. It's in the bases packaging. And it's chilling right here with the spider on top. Make sure you don't touch that spider unless you want to get bit. It's got some little spiders on it as well. Some little venomized spiders. I think I counted 26 spiders in total on this statue, except for the spider emblems, the Venom emblems on his back and chest. So including those would be 28. Alright, so let's go ahead and plug this in. This one has a really strong magnet, super big key, sits in there perfectly. Alright, so now we have number 11, 12, and 13. And they're all going to be the same piece, just one piece of symbiote, but it's 2 different steps. So we're going to go ahead and grab out part number 11, and then for 12 and 13, 12 you're going to plug it into his back, and 13 you're going to plug that same piece into that smaller pipe. Alright, so here we have number 11. and this one's going to be inside Venom's packaging as well. Is this piece all the way up to the upper left hand side of the packaging with the mouth and fangs on that piece of symbiote right there. This is the biggest piece of symbiote out of all of them. It's got those translucent resin teeth. Looking sinister, man. Really bringing this piece to life. And this one has a really big key and magnet. And this one's going to go ahead and plug in. This key and magnet is going to go ahead and plug in to his back right here. And then there's another key and magnet right here that's going to swoop around and plug into the pipe right here. This one right here, you really have to be careful with it, just because of the nature of the way it swings around and back onto this pipe. This piece of symbiote's kind of in the way. So let's go ahead and get that part in first. Line that up first. And then line up the rest so you don't damage that other piece of symbiote. And go ahead and just let it suck right up in there. Now this one right here, I could definitely do the same thing and heat it up. Got a little piece of styrofoam on my shit. Get out of my face, bruh. So yeah, this one right here can definitely, I could definitely heat this one up. But it's fine. It's seated in there. The magnet's sucking on it. If I wanted everything to sit super flush, I could just heat it up for maybe 2 or 3 minutes with that blow dryer, and it would be a lot better. But honestly, I really don't feel like it's necessary. So it's just an option for you guys. But yeah, make sure you have this part seated inside the pipe right here to give it that extra stability so it doesn't tweak on you, man. It's looking really good, you guys. Alright, let's go for that next step. Now we got number 14. And this piece of symbiote is going to go ahead and plug into his left elbow. Alright, so 14 is inside Venom's packaging as well. It's going to be in the top of the packaging. This is that piece of symbiote that plugs in to his elbow right here, his left elbow. So let's go ahead and plug that in. And that plugs in with these 2 keys right here. They both have their own shape to go ahead and plug in their corresponding hole. So let's go ahead and put that in. Go ahead and press it down a little bit. Now this is one of them that I did heat up as well previously during my unboxing. I could heat it up again to get it all the way flush, but for now I'm fine with it. Just so you guys know, man, I have my blow dryer, not my blow dryer, but my wife's blow dryer right here, so I could just hit it real quick. You know, this one right here would probably take a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and save you guys the time on that one. Alright, let's go ahead and go on to the next step. Now we have number 15. Alright, so number 15 is going to be inside the base's packaging, all the way up to the upper right hand side, right next to the spider. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in right next to that last one that we put in. This one has an oddly shaped key as well, so it's easy to find where it goes. Just like butter, baby. Alright, next one. Alright, now we have number 16. It's going to be a really big piece of symbiote that's going to plug into his back and shoulder area. And this one has the mouth and fangs on it as well. Alright, so here we have it, number 16. Sitting there right next to Venom, inside Venom's packaging. It's going to be that piece of symbiote with the mouth and fangs. Looking all gnarly. And this one right here has 2 pegs, magnetic pegs and keys. And that's going to go ahead and go right here. Alright, let's go ahead and throw that in. See, I think that this one is a little funny. It's a little strange. The position of it on his body and the sculpt. I feel like this one right here, instead of lunging downward, it should be lunging forward a little bit more, just to make it look like it's coming at you. You know what I mean? But you can't have everything. Alright you guys, next piece. Alright, so now we have number 17, and this piece of symbiote is going to go ahead and plug into Venom's right elbow. Alright, so 17's chilling right here, right next to where 16 is. In Venom's packaging. It's a really big piece of symbiote as well. Really loving the paint job on this symbiote, you guys. So yeah, it has 2 keys as well with 2 magnets. I don't think I had any problems with this one. Let's go ahead and see what's up. Yeah, that one fits in really nice. These magnets are all really strong on these. Alright, so number 18 is another piece of symbiote that's going to plug into his right forearm. And number 18 is going to be over here. Inside the base's packaging. Up on the upper right hand side. Here we have it. Number 18. Another piece of symbiote. It's got 2 keys, 2 magnets. And it goes on his fist right here, his forearm. Let's go ahead and throw that in. Yeah, baby. Look at that. Gotta love this, man. Paint's really smooth. Beautiful paint job on this piece, you guys. You know, it's not perfect. It's a statue. They never are. Never had a perfect statue. But this is pretty damn perfect when it comes to the paint app, you guys. Looks just like the prototype. Alright, next step. Alright, so now we're going to start off with these webs. And number 19 is the first one out of the 4. Alright, so here we have number 19. And it's the second to the left inside the base's packaging. Now this web right here, you're not going to have to heat this one up. You're probably going to have to only heat up 1 out of 4. But if you have to heat up all 4 to get them to fit without breaking, go ahead and do so, man. It's going to save you maybe 3 or 4 months of having to wait for a replacement part. You never know. So 2 seconds of heating it up is going to be better than, 2 or 3 months of waiting for a replacement part. So this piece right here is going to go ahead and plug onto the back end of this pipe. The square key goes on the ground and the rectangle key goes into the pipe. But yeah, this one right here, I could definitely heat it up and get it to sit flush, but it's on there and the magnets are keeping it on there, so I'm fine with that for now. Alright, so now we got number 20, and number 20 is actually going to be the biggest web out of all the webs, and this one plugs into that larger pipe as well. So this one's going to be with all the other webs inside the base's packaging, and it's that one all the way to the right hand side. This one right here is the one that I recommend heating up out of all of them. You might not have the problem with yours, but I had to heat mine up just to get it into place because the fit is so tight and you have to bend, you have to torque on this a little bit. So I just don't want to break it. So I'm actually going to go ahead and heat this one up. I'm gonna put it on the blow dryer for maybe about 30 seconds to a minute. As soon as it gives me a little bit more flex and it's not so brittle, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it onto the base. Let's go ahead and heat that up. Alright you guys, so it's probably just about good. You know, you don't need to get it to where it's like melting or anything, but just get it to where when you bend it, it bends really easy, you know. Alright, let's go ahead and throw this onto the base. So this little key is going to go ahead and go on the bottom. It's like a square looking key. Then we have a rectangle key that plugs into right here. So yeah, if you were just going to go ahead and throw this in there without doing that, you have a very, very, very high chance of breaking this part. So yeah, definitely heat it up, man. Ain't no big deal. I guarantee you got a fucking blow dryer if you get that ass, you know what I mean? Alright you guys, we got the third web, number 21. And this one's going to go ahead and plug in to the smaller pipe and the rock part of the base. It's going to be on the back side of the smaller pipe. Alright, so here we have 21 inside the base's packaging with all the other webs. It's going to be that one all the way to the left hand side. And 21 is going to go ahead and go onto the back half of the smaller pipe. It's going to plug in right here, and then the square key is going to go ahead and plug in right here. Alright, it's looking good, man. I really like this webbing, you guys, because it's not like, you know, just like a milky white. It has a slight milkiness to it, but it's still clear, so it gives it, you know, that look like it just got laid in there. Very fresh still. And this webbing right here is, you know, just painted on. It looks like it's been there for a while. It's all dirty and dingy. But this shit right here, it looks like it was just sprayed on there with those from those bigger tarantula looking spiders. And now we got the final piece of webbing, and this one is going to go ahead and plug onto the front of that pipe and the base as well. Alright, so number 22 is with the rest of the webs, and it's right here in the middle, second to the right. Now I actually just realized something that I'm surprised I didn't realize sooner. So a reason why these webs are not sticking on, you know, 100% flush with without heating them up, is that there's only one magnet. This magnet, this key has the magnet, but this key doesn't have a magnet. And I really feel like both the keys should have magnets just to suck them in. You know, if they could put one here, they can definitely put one here. So that's something that they should have done a little differently. It just would have given it an overall better fit. So yeah, let's go ahead and plug it in. It's going to go ahead and plug in right here onto the pipe and right here onto the base. Get it in there first, and then bend this one a little bit. So yeah, that's something that they should have changed. But like I said, it's not falling off by itself. It's going to need your help to fall off. So yeah, let's go ahead and go on to the next piece. Really cool aspect of this statue, it's going to be this spider, the Venomized spider. And since they have both spiders in one step, I'm going to go ahead and label one of those spiders 23.1 and the other one 23.2. So this first spider, 23.1, is going to go ahead and go on the right side of the base. And here it is in the base's packaging. On the bottom side of the packaging, this is 23.1. Now, one thing about these spiders, you guys, really they're like venomized tarantulas almost. I really feel like they should have had that Venom symbol right here. This is a very big selling feature to this statue, I think, having these, you know, venomized tarantulas on the side of the base. And I just really feel like that would have really been the cherry on top, man. If they would have had that Venom symbol on that spider's back. Now, that's not just me saying that because I think it would look cool, but it's actually like that in the comics. You could see it on, I think it was issue 3 on the cover, and I think it's in a couple other panels, you know, just spread throughout the comics. But it's definitely on issue 3 on the cover. So yeah, that would have been dope, man. It's definitely something that they missed out on. Definitely a missed opportunity. But yeah, this one right here, 23.1, it goes on the right side of the base. And you can see that the key is cut right here. So you put it in just like this. You want to make sure you don't put these in at a crazy angle because you really don't want to go ahead and damage the little tips of the claws. But yeah, they got a nice weight to them. You know, they're made out of the same material as the rest of the statue. So that being said, you want to be careful with them as well. So let's go ahead and throw him onto the base. So yeah, you want to kind of put in his claws towards the bottom of the base first, and then curl him up. And just let the magnet do the most of the work. But once he's in there, super flush, really nice paint job. His paint is just like the symbiote. It's that Very oily, you know, shiny looking paint job. Yeah, man, that would have been badass with that symbol on there though. Damn. Killing me, Prime 1. Now we're gonna go ahead and grab 23.2. 23.2 is inside the base's packaging as well, on the upper right hand side of the packaging. It's gonna be that second venomized tarantula looking spider, looking super sick. Love these, man. Prime 1, why'd you have to do it? Where's those symbols, baby? You know, I can see that it's not really a problem because you don't really see it. It's off to the side of the base and the back of the base, so it's not really something you're always going to see. But you never know, man. Somebody might have this as a centerpiece in their collection and you can walk all the way around it. So yeah, definitely a missed opportunity. Alright, so it has 2 notches cut out of the key to give it its own shape. We're gonna go ahead and plug that in just like this. This one right here is not as hard to put in as the other one. This one's a little easier. You want to just line it up, let the magnet do the rest of the work. Sits in there beautifully, man. Love those. See how it's just almost climbing up the back of his foot? Dude ain't even tripping though, bro. Super sick. Alright, you guys. Next part. We're going for it. Alright, so number 24 is probably the easiest part to put on out of all of them. And it's going to be this shut-off valve that goes onto the base. Inside the base's packaging, right next to the base. Chilling right next to the larger pipe. It's a really dope little shut-off valve. It's magnetized right here. And it's just going to go ahead and plug in right here. Easiest part all day. Yeah, you can spin it a little bit. Here we have number 25. It's going to be the last piece of symbiote. And this is going to plug in to the front of the base. And it's in between the base and the larger pipe inside the packaging. And it's going to go ahead and plug on to this part of the base right here. And they pretty much just did this so that it doesn't break off during shipping, man. Plug that right in there. Now, one thing that I have to say about this little piece of symbiote right here, because it's front and center of the statue, the gap is visible, the seam is visible. I mean, it's not like a huge gap or anything like that, but because it's front and center, you know, it's pretty easy to spot it. But all in all, the symbiote is just so crazy and it's just going all over the place that if you're not focusing in on it, it kind of just, you know, tunes out. There's just so much going on with the statue. Somebody walking by, or, you know, somebody that's really not into the piece itself isn't really going to notice it. Alright, so now we got the final step. It's going to be the 3 different head sculpts. That third one, the EX head, is if you got the exclusive. And it's going to be that McFarlane-esque portrait. So here we have head number 1 inside Venom's packaging. So here's the first head sculpt. I'm going to call this H1. H1N1. Yeah, these head sculpts, man, this is where this piece really shines, I think. I think these head sculpts set it apart from all the other Venoms out there. I think that these head sculpts are, you know, the best head sculpts when it comes to Venom. It's a really big key with a very strong magnet, so your piece isn't going to fall out of the socket and get damaged. You don't want this piece falling out, man. Look at that though. And this is actually, I don't know, maybe this is my second favorite out of all 3. Could be number 3 though. I don't know, that McFarlane portrait's growing on me a little bit. But yeah, look at that tongue, you guys. That tongue is translucent. It's like a maraschino cherry color. Very vibrant. Looks nasty as fuck, man. That saliva just dripping off of it. You know, around the eyes. It's got a little bit of shading, so it's not just, you know, stark white. Very glossy on the inside of the gums. The teeth are semi-translucent. You can see through them. Semi-transparent, translucent, whatever you want to call it. And they're all weatherized with all kinds of plaque on the teeth as well. They really went all out on this one, you guys. This shit right here is so impressive to me. I just love it. And the nice thing about it is that they give you 3 portraits. So, you know, you get to decide which one you really want. Everybody wins. It's a win-win for everybody. You know, you're never going to get 100% what you want unless you commission your own piece. And even then, who knows about the paint job. But yeah, that's looking sweet. Let's go ahead and plug that in real quick so you guys can see the angle. Now, one thing I have paid attention to is the seam. Mine doesn't really have a seam on the neckline. Now, you could move them a little bit, but the way that mine sits in there, there's no seam, and it just looks really good, man. There's really no light shining through or anything like that. It is a seam, 100%. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. You got 3 different head sculpts. The only other way you're not going to get that seam is if you have just, you know, one head sculpt and they don't take it apart. But yeah, man, my seam is manageable. I'm sure not every single seam is going to be manageable though, because if you look, the magnet is going to be placed slightly differently in each one of these. And this magnet is going to be placed slightly differently. So they're not all going to seat the same. So it's all, you know, it's a crapshoot, man. You get lucky, you might not get lucky. But at the end of the day, as long as that shit don't fall out, you're all good, man. You might be able to do something to fix it. But yeah, let's go ahead and check out that next portrait. This one's looking good though. I'm really digging it. Here we have head number 2. This is probably my favorite portrait out of all of them, but they're all pretty much growing on me for their own reasons though. That McFarlane portrait's really grown on me recently too as well. Alright, you guys, here we have it, H2. And this right here, you guys, this is another one of the main selling points for this statue for me. I just absolutely love this portrait. Came right from that Dark Origin storyline. And it's just perfect for this statue, man. You know, it's got all that shading in the eye as well, in the eyepiece. It's got all that tartar and decay on the rows of teeth as well. You know, the tongue is just like the other tongue, just dripping with saliva with that translucent red maraschino cherry color. It's got a lot of texture on the tongue as well. You know, it's not just a crazy ass shape, but it's very texturized. It looks like, you know, the taste buds on your actual tongue. Did a very good job. They put so much color in here too. They packed in a little bit of a purplish blue, almost like it's the veins on your tongue. They did a beautiful job. And you know those purple veins on the bottom of your tongue? They put those in there as well. Look at that shit, you guys. That shit is no joke, man. They got the strands of the gums separating. So sick, you guys. I love this head sculpt. Look at all those teeth. They're not in like a straight row. Those teeth are They're all over the place. They're like layers in a shark's mouth. You see that? It's all, you know, different rows of teeth. I like that. Shit is clean as fuck. Alright, let's go ahead and throw it in. Beautiful piece, you guys. You know, it really doesn't get any better than this when it comes to Venom. One thing I do want to show you guys really quick, just to compare it to the XM Studios Venom. So this is my favorite portrait for the XM Studios Venom. It's a very good looking portrait. Very impressive. And honestly, I love it, man. You know, it's hard saying, you know, this statue is better than this one, that one's better than this one. Every statue has something about it that you gravitate towards and you love about it. Me, I have 5 Venoms, and I love every one of them for their own reason. When I first got this one in hand, I was completely impressed with this right here. I still love it, man. It's got those taste buds on the tongue. And I'm going to show you guys. It's magnetized on the tongue. Very smart. Very, very smart of XM Studios to do that. But this is the more, you know, enraged Venom portrait for the XM Studios one. But I feel like this one takes the cake when it comes to the enraged aspect. But yeah, that was super smart, man, that they did it like that. Super strong magnet too. It's got the shading on the eyes. But you see the symbiote, you guys? How it's almost like veins of symbiote. Just a little different. Just a little different take to Venom. Just wanted to go ahead and show you guys that real quick. Just a little comparison. I like how this one has more saliva and it has those veins wrapped around the tongue. Shit is clowning. But yeah, man, this shit's killer too. I love it. Alright, you guys, now we got that final head sculpt. It's going to be that EX McFarlane portrait inside the packaging for Venom as well. The third and final head sculpt for this Venom. This is the McFarlane-esque head sculpt. You know, dirty around the rim of the eye as well. It's got that tartar buildup on the teeth. It's got that McFarlane style smile. Straight grinning. The Joker's jealous of that grin. But yeah, it's really growing on me, man. Honestly, I'm like everybody else, you know. You mostly know Venom for that McFarlane style Venom. But this statue, to me, I really feel like the other one, you know, the enraged portrait just is better for the storyline. It's better for, you know, the tendrils, and it just tells more of a story. This right here, this is depicted a lot in the comics though, for this Dark Origin storyline. This portrait right here is all over the comic. But yeah, you know, for this particular Venom, you know, I really feel like the other portrait is what should be displayed with it. This right here is more like if you only have one Venom. You know what I mean? Because you could use other Venoms for that McFarlane style portrait. You could have the premium format for that McFarlane style portrait. But yeah, it's dope. Let's go ahead and plug it in, give it a look. So yeah, just like the other heads, this one has a little bit of play. But of course these are going to have play. I mean, you could take them in and out. They're removable. But yeah, I don't really have, if you just put it in the right way, I don't really have a seam. Go ahead and show you guys. You know, I can't say I don't have a seam. There's a seam, but I don't have a gap. It's not like ridiculously crazy. You know, it's about 90% there. It looks good. The paint matches perfectly, you guys. with the paint on the body. The paint on the portrait is just effortlessly the same color, which is great. You can't ask for nothing better. So that is the final piece to this Venom statue. Thanks for going on the ride with me. Shit was definitely fun. Appreciate you guys who stuck it out all the way to the end. So that's pretty much it, man. I really appreciate you guys, you know, making it to the end of the video. For you guys that did, you guys must be some straight statue fanatics, some straight up fiends, man, because, you know, it's pretty lengthy. You know, there's a lot going on with it. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave that thumbs up. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. To all you haters out there, I don't even give a fuck, bruh. You know what I mean? I got one thing to say to you, bruh. Go to sleep, ho. Because it's past your bedtime.